The city of Neon Verge pulsed with light and shadow, its skyscrapers clawing at a sky choked with smog and holographic billboards. Below, in the underbelly of the city, the streets buzzed with desperation, vendors hawking bioimplants, hackers trading stolen data, and whispers of black market surgeries that could make or break a life. Elias Kane, a 28-year-old nurse, navigated this world with quiet resignation, his scrubs stained with the day's labor at Neon Verge General Hospital. Elias had once dreamed of becoming a surgeon, but life had other plans. 10 years ago, his younger sister, Clara, died during a routine appendectomy gone wrong. The hospital called it an unavoidable complication, but Elias, then a teenager, saw the truth in the surgeon's trembling hands and the hospital's rushed cover-up. That moment shattered his faith in medicine, yet he couldn't walk away. Nursing became his penance, a way to save others where he'd failed Clara. Neon Verge General was a crumbling relic, its halls reeking of antiseptic and neglect. Elias worked the night shift, his days blending into a blur of patience, paperwork, and the occasional bribe to keep the outdated equipment running. His only solace was Lilachan, a childhood friend turned investigative journalist, who met him for coffee at a dingy diner near the hospital. Lila's sharp eyes and relentless curiosity kept Elias tethered to the world outside his guild. "You look like death warmed over," Lila said one evening, sliding a cup of synthetic coffee across the table. Her dark hair was pulled into a messy bun, and her tablet glowed with notes from her latest investigation. Elias managed a tired smile. "Long shift. 3 emergencies, 2 flatlines. You chasing ghosts?" Lila said, her voice low. "There's a syndicate running illegal organ trades in the city. High-end clients, backroom surgeries. I'm close to cracking it, but I need a source inside a hospital." Elias stiffened. "Don't look at me. I'm just a nurse. You." It was 2:17 a.m. when Elias was called to operating room 3. Dr. Mara Voss, the hospital's star neurosurgeon, was prepping for an emergency procedure on a VIP patient, Victor Reyes. Elias had heard of Victor, a reclusive businessman whose name floated in rumors of corporate espionage and underworld deals. The man on the table was unconscious, his face bruised, his skull showing signs of trauma that didn't match the chart's vague accident diagnosis. Dr. Voss, a woman in her 40s with icy precision and a reputation for miracles, barely acknowledged Elias as he scrubbed in. Her dark eyes were fixed on the monitors, her hands steady as she prepared for deep brain surgery. "Kane, assist with the neurostimulator." "No mistakes." Elias nodded, his heart pounding. Brain surgery was rare at Neon Verge General. Their equipment was barely adequate for routine procedures. Yet here was Voss, diving into a high-risk operation with the confidence of someone working in a private clinic. The surgery began smoothly, the hum of machines filling the sterile room. Elias monitored Victor's vitals, his hands steady despite the exhaustion creeping into his bones. Then, without warning, Victor's heart rate spiked. The monitors screamed. Blood pressure plummeted. "Defibrillator, now!" Voss snapped, her voice cutting through the chaos. Elias froze for a split second, his mind flashing to Clara's surgery, her vitals crashing, the surgeon's panic, his own helplessness. He shook it off, grabbing the paddles, but his hesitation cost them. Victor flatlined. Voss shoved Elias aside, her hands a blur as she adjusted the neurostimulator and injected a cocktail of drugs. Miraculously, Victor's heart restarted. The room fell silent, save for the steady beep of the monitor. Voss turned to Elias, her expression unreadable. "You're lucky I'm here, Kane. Clean up and get out." Elias stumbled into the hallway, his scrubs damp with sweat. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Victor's injury. That night, Elias couldn't sleep. He replayed the surgery in his mind, the pieces refusing to fit. Why was a businessman like Victor at a public hospital? Why was Voss, who could command a fortune in private practice, working here? And why did the chart list no next of kin, no medical history? The next evening, Elias lingered after his shift, his curiosity outweighing his caution. The hospital's basement housed old records and restricted areas, including the server room for patient data. Elias had no clearance, but years of navigating the hospital's bureaucracy had taught him a few tricks. Using a stolen keycard from a careless intern, he slipped into the server room. The air was thick with the hum of cooling fans. Elias accessed a terminal, his fingers trembling as he searched for Victor's file. What he found made his blood run cold. Victor's chart was encrypted, marked with a code reserved for sensitive cases. Digging deeper, Elias uncovered a hidden database, dozens of patients, all flagged as donors, their records showing unexplained deaths or transfers to unknown facilities. Among them was a name that stopped his heart, Clara Kane. Elias's vision blurred. Clara's file listed her as a voluntary donor. After her surgery, her organs harvested for an unspecified recipient. The date matched her death, but the details were lies. Clara had been healthy before the surgery. Her death wasn't an accident. She'd been targeted. He copied the files to a drive, his hands shaking. As he logged out, footsteps echoed in the corridor. Elias ducked behind a server rack, his breath shallow. Dr. Voss appeared, speaking in hushed tones to a man in a tailored suit. "Reyes is stable," she said. "The syndicate wants him delivered by tomorrow. No loose ends." The man nodded. "And the nurse?" Voss's voice was cold. "Kane's a nobody. If he becomes a problem, we'll handle it." Elias waited until they left, his heart hammering. He slipped out of the hospital, the drive burning a hole in his pocket. He needed Lila. Lila's apartment was a cluttered haven of papers, tablets, and half-empty coffee cups. When Elias showed her the drive, her eyes lit up. "This is it, Eli. The proof I've been chasing." They spent hours decrypting the files. The data revealed a sprawling operation. A syndicate, backed by powerful clients, was harvesting organs from vulnerable patients, homeless people, debtors, even hospital patients like Clara. Neon Verge General was a front, with Voss as the linchpin, performing surgeries to extract organs under the guise of treatment. Victor Reyes wasn't just a patient, he was a key player, brokering deals for the syndicate. "We need to go public," Lila said, her voice fierce. "This could bring them down." Elias hesitated. "They'll know it was me. Voss saw me in the ore. If we do this, I'm done. My job, my life here." Lila grabbed his hand. "You're already in, Eli. You saw Clara's name. You can't walk away now." Elias thought of Clara, her laugh, her dreams of becoming an artist, the way she trusted the hospital to save her. He nodded. "Okay, let's do it." Lila worked her contacts, leaking the files to a trusted editor at Neon Verge's underground news network. Within hours, the story broke. Hospital of Horrors, organ trafficking ring exposed. The city erupted. Protests swarmed Neon Verge General, and authorities raided the hospital. Voss was arrested, her face plastered across every holoscreen, her calm demeanor replaced by fury. But the syndicate didn't crumble easily. Elias received an anonymous message. "You've made a mistake, nurse. We know where you live." That night, his apartment was ransacked, his belongings smashed. Lila insisted he stay with her, but Elias knew he was a target. Victor Reyes vanished from the hospital, his chart erased as if he'd never existed. Lila's sources reported sightings of him in the city's underbelly, surrounded by armed guards. Elias realized the syndicate was protecting its own, and Victor was more dangerous than he'd thought. A week later, Lila uncovered a lead. Victor was meetings indicate contact at an abandoned warehouse in the city's industrial district. Against her protests, Elias insisted on going. "I need to face him," he said. "For Clara." Under the cover of darkness, Elias slipped into the warehouse. A stun baton borrowed from Lila's stash, his only weapon. Inside, he found Victor, his face healed but his eyes cold. The businessman was negotiating with a hooded figure, discussing new suppliers to replace the hospital's operation. Elias stepped forward, his voice steady. "Victor Reyes, I know what you did to my sister." Victor turned, a smirk playing on his lips. "The nurse, you're braver than I thought." "You killed her," Elias said, his grip tightening on the baton. "You and Voss. How many others?" Victor shrugged. "Business is business. Your sister was a means to an end. You should have stayed out of it." Rage surged through Elias, but before he could act, the hooded figure drew a gun. Elias dove behind a crate, the stun baton sparking as he activated it. The warehouse erupted into chaos. Gunfire, shouts, the clatter of metal. Elias lunged, striking the gunman's arm, disarming him. Victor bolted, but Elias tackled him, pinning him to the ground. "Why her?" Elias demanded, his voice breaking. "Why Clara?" Victor laughed, blood trickling from his lip. "Because she was there, and you're next." Sirens wailed in the distance. Lila had tipped off the authorities. Victor's smirk faded as police drones flooded the warehouse. Elias stepped back, letting the officers take him. As Victor was cuffed, he whispered, "This isn't over, nurse." The syndicate's exposure shook Neon Verge. Dozens were arrested, and the hospital was shut down, its patients transferred to other facilities. Elias was hailed as a hero by some, a traitor by others. He lost his nursing license, his career in ruins, but the weight of Clara's death no longer just a nurse. He was a man who'd faced the darkness and come out changed, not whole but resolute. Neon Verge would always be a city of shadows, but Elias vowed to shine a light, one truth at a time.